Hey guys, I'm Nick. On today's Fish Facts, we're going to talk about flounder. It is November. We're in the middle of fall. They are during their migration. The fish are moving. This is really the best time of year to target them. It's the easiest time of year to target them, and that's actually probably the biggest problem with the flounder population here along the coast. I obviously have a bunch of facts. I know a ton of them. I looked up some new stuff out of curiosity, just to give you guys additional information. We're going to use the phone a little bit to help out. We're going to give you guys some facts. We're going to cover all this information. Really covers Pensacola to the Panama City area for the locals. Flounder do different things along the coast. Really, once the island ends and the ICW is gone, the Big Bend is a completely different fishery for flounder. They can come and go a lot easier because there's no island to go around. They don't have to use the passes to get the deep water. And that changes stuff. It also changes it out towards Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas. Things are different. The pass system is a little bit different going that direction. So we're going to focus most of this information right here on the local area. Before we get started, we're going to ask a question. Did you know there's more than one type of flounder in our local area? Don't lie about it. Let me know in the comment section. It's actually pretty interesting. Now, two of the most common are Gulf flounder and southern flounder. Now, they behave different and they do different things, but we'll start off with Gulf flounder. They have three prominent dark spots on them. They're very easy to tell. It looks like a triangle. The rear one is actually on their lateral line. It's interesting. Here's a photo of it. You can see it. It's very easy to identify. Now, they commonly grow up to 14 inches. They don't really get too large. They spend most of their lives inshore on sandy, muddy bottoms throughout the bay systems. A bunch of people will catch them fishing deep water, Pensacola Bay throughout the year using live bait. Sometimes they're snapper fishing in the summer. Those are going to be your Gulf flounder. Now, you can also gig that species along the surf. It's very interesting in the fall. You can go out and surf north wind days, nighttime, get in knee-deep water with your lights, and you can go down the coast and you can gig them. It's interesting. It's not for me, but it's doable. All right, let's move on to their cousins. It's the southern flounder. Now, southern flounder get a little larger. They're commonly caught up to 20 inches long. We've caught a few beautiful fish over the last few years that were 22, 23 inches. It's a different fish. It lives in a different area. You can actually find it further up in the river systems. It actually spends a lot of time in the summer in fresh water. They're hard to catch up there in the river systems when they're way up in there because they're on the bottom, surrounded by trees and stuff. Some people try. It's a good way to lose a whole bunch of jigs. Obviously, live bait, bull minnows, things like that would be the best answer. Now, as fall comes, we get these cold fronts, okay? And once those cold fronts come, we get a lot of north winds, and the water level is dropping the bay, and those fish begin migrating south. Now, they're migrating to the passes to go offshore and spawn. During that migration, they're very easy to target, especially to gig. And when you are targeting these fish, I got a list of ways you can kill them, right? All right, so you can obviously kill them and catch them on rods and reels. You can spear them, gig them, seine net them, and cast net them. So you can pretty much kill a flounder any way you want, and it's not a big deal. In Florida, we have a minimum size limit of 12 inches, and you can harvest 10 per person with no boat limit. So if you got 6 people on your boat, you can kill 60 flounder. So if you're gigging flounder on a pontoon boat, you can gig them until you fill up every cooler and then probably keep going, all right? It's insane. And that's one of the reasons with the rise of social media and fishing forums and just data and information that these fish have taken a huge hit over the last several years. These fish are migrating south along these sandy banks and shallow waters, and bright LEDs just make it super easy to find them and gig them. But they're on their way to spawn. So if you're out there gigging and you see 2 fish and one's 14 inches and one's 20 inches, which one are you going to gig? You're going to gig the big one. The big one is a female. You're going to gig her before she has a chance to go offshore and reproduce, taking an entire generation out of the breeding stock. It's not good for the fish. There are some limits that probably need to be changed, like some of our other local and surrounding states. Some interesting information here about that. Surrounding states have much harsher limits, right? Alabama increased their size limit to 14 inches, and they have a 5 fish limit per day. Texas has pretty similar, except they reduced the limit to 2 throughout the entire month of November. So Texas has realized, wow, these fish are easy to kill during the month of November. Let's put a limit on it. Let's reduce that limit so anglers can't just go out and fill the boat. Now, up on the East Coast, South Carolina, things change a little bit over there. You have a minimum of 15 inches. Now, you can keep a max of 10 per person, but only 20 per boat, which is another really good thing. That way you don't have 4 or 5 guys on a boat. You don't go out and gig 50 of them and call it a night. You're forced to stop at 20. 20 quality size flounder is a ton of meat. That being said, a 12-inch flounder, a 14-inch flounder, there's barely any meat on there, and there's really just no reason to keep them. So keep that into consideration. As these fish migrate offshore, you can still target them pretty easily. Now, it's got a little harder over the last few years because there's just less and less flounder in the system, but these fish go out the passes. Think Panhandle of Florida, Pensacola Pass, Destin Pass. You got another pass down there towards Panama City. They're going to come out of the bay systems. They go out these passes. They get on nearshore structure, whether it be rocky bottoms. The jetties are a great place to start when they're in the middle of their migration. And then any of the chicken coops, the man-made structures, anything else out there, any natural bottom, ledges, stuff that you fish for snapper in roughly 80 feet of water, 60 to 80 feet of water, will be full. They catch a ton of these guys at Fort Pickens. They catch a ton of them off the Pensacola and the Navarre piers throughout the year, throughout the winter months. They're not hard to catch. You just got to find them. It's a very aggressive species, and that's one of the reasons if you can catch a limit on rod and reel doing that, obviously it's pretty easy to gig them. They're just laying there with some lights in their face. All that stuff being said, Florida's going to come around. You're starting to see Florida. They're lower the speckled trout limit. They changed the sheep's head limit last year. They're really slow. I'll tell you this: the data they go off of, for an organization that should be on top of this stuff, they're just not. They've started doing a better job of switching the state up into different northeast, northwest, different zones. That's going to have to happen for probably red snapper, everything, okay, going forward. Flounder, redfish, trout, snook, all that stuff's going to have to come down to management areas and not just so much, hey, you can kill 10 throughout the whole state, because we have a ton of different fisheries, okay, and they got to find some kind of balance in there and do a better job of that stuff. That stuff's probably coming pretty soon, all right? It's just not ready quite yet. Now, ton of information in this video. We talked about it in the last video. Conservation starts with education. So I'm definitely not telling you not to go out there and just don't kill any flounder. Yeah, it's a tasty fish. You're going to work hard for them these days. I know a lot of guys who gig them who they're not even gigging limits. They're gigging 3 or 4 fish. And they're like, where'd all the flounder go? Well, you gigged them all. You killed them. Simply put, you killed them last year. You killed them the year before. You didn't give them a chance to go spawn. And there aren't any left. So continue killing those big females, and there won't be any left next year either. You just need to keep that stuff in mind. There's no reason to kill a 12-inch fish. There's no meat on it. There's no reason to kill a 22-inch fish. Let her go. Let her get offshore and make some babies. And I see limits starting to come down on a lot of this stuff, where a lot of your trophy fish, you're not going to have any new records because they're not going to let you harvest anything over a certain size, because regulations and biologists and all these things are going to come down to, they're going to regulate the breeding stock, just like redfish. When redfish were in danger, they're like, all right, you can't keep any more fish that breed. That's coming. It's coming for trout. It's coming for flounder. It's coming for everything. And I don't think it'll take that long for them to do it, because it's important. It needs to be done. Now, I have some thoughts. A lot of those were a lot of facts in there, some opinions, right? Opinions are good. So put your guys in the comments section. What are your thoughts about Florida closing the flounder season during the migration? Something similar to Texas, reducing the limit, doing these things to help these fish get offshore and give them a chance to reproduce. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section. I look forward to seeing it. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch, and I hope you have a great day.